got a basic understanding of the qualitative aspect and the quantitative aspect. There are some general food habits which are conducive to better digestion and better assimilation of the food that we eat in the body. The first thing is, it is described in terms of good food habits or good food manners. The first is the proper time of eating. What is the proper time? It is recommended in Ayurveda to have 3 proper meals in a day, and the main meal of the day is recommended at noon time, which is the pitta time, when the fire in the body is at its best, at its maximum. And it is also recommended that one should have one's dinner. The dinner should be as far as possible before the sunset, because the fire in the body, the heat in the body is directly connected to the movement of the sun. When the sun comes up, the heat in the body begins to increase, and when the sun goes down, the fire in the body also goes down. So therefore it is recommended to have an early dinner. Another reason to have an early dinner is that if you have an early dinner, you have enough time to digest that food before you go to sleep. Because when you go to sleep, the digestive fire also becomes less, and if the food that you have taken is not digested, then it will tend to remain in your intestine in an undigested state for the rest of the whole night. It will not get properly digested, which can result in many health problems. Therefore, it is very important to digest your food in the evening before you go to sleep. So that's about the proper timing of the food. Also, some people have habit of snacking. So you keep eating snacks, small snacks now and then, every hour you keep eating that. So that is also not recommended in Ayurveda, because that spoils the biorhythm of the body. There is a rhythm by which the body creates the digestive fire, the fire digests the food, and then the fire goes down. If we keep on eating continuously, then there is no time for the fire to relax or the fire to rejuvenate itself, which will result in the irregular or vitiation of the digestive fire of the body. So if we keep eating continuously, then that will result in the vitiation or irregularity of the digestive fire, which will result in a very low quality of digestion and resultant accumulation of toxins. Next is the importance of washing your hands. Ayurveda recommends that one should wash one's hands and legs and eyes before having food. The fundamental principle behind this is to regulate the digestive fire. The eyes are the organs of fire, sense organs of fire. So therefore, by applying water on the eyes, you are actually regulating by cooling the eyes, you are regulating the excess fire that is flowing to the periphery of the body. The legs are also considered to be the organs of fire. Therefore, by cooling the legs, you are also regulating the excess fire which is present in the periphery to flow back into the core, back into the center of the body, and thus the fire accumulates in the center, ready to digest the food that you are eating. So washing the eyes, washing the legs, washing the hands, which is part of cleanliness, is especially recommended. Third is about sitting down and having the food. Nowadays we see people are always in a hurry, and people are eating on the run. There is fast food, people are driving and eating, working and eating, running and eating. All these kind of habits are very common. But Ayurveda says this results in a lot of health problems, because the body is not ready to accept that food. So when one sits down, what happens? First thing is, mind becomes peaceful. So when you sit down, you become stable, and when you sit down, Ayurveda recommends, don't do anything else. Don't read, don't talk, don't watch television. Look at the food, smell the food, experience your food with all the senses, as many senses as possible. So Ayurveda recommends that you should sit down and have your food. Why? Because sitting down makes you stable, sitting down makes you calm. It is not recommended to eat in an anxious condition, in a restless condition, in a disturbed condition. That will affect the digestion of the food, which will result in toxins and disease. So therefore, very important to sit down, calm, look at the food, experience the food with all your senses, with your nose, smell the food, with your ears, hear about the food, talk about the food, taste the food, and as many senses as you can experience the food, the better the experience, the more holistic, the more complete the experience of the food is. Look at the food. So in this way, Ayurveda gives us, or Ayurveda recommends, a complete experience of the food that we are eating. It is also said that one should not talk, one should not distract one's mind away from the food. Nowadays we know it is quite common to have business lunch and business dinner where we are discussing serious business matters while we are having our food. This is contrary to the principle of Ayurveda, because Ayurveda says that one should concentrate all the energy of the body in the core, in the stomach, to be able to digest the food that is eating. One should not have any other kind of distraction. For example, speaking with the mobile, or watching the television, or reading some book, and these are all different kinds of distractions that can affect our digestion, and Ayurveda recommends that we should not do any of these things. The next point is to eat fresh food. Ayurveda says that as far as possible we should eat freshly cooked food which is not cooked more than 3 hours in advance. So food which is cooked and stored, for example in the refrigerator for long hours, sometimes even I know people who are storing food for sometimes even weeks, and little by little taking out and heating it and eating it. So this kind of practice is not recommended in Ayurveda, because food that is cooked and stored for a long time tends to lose the energy, tends to lose those vitality qualities, and it becomes not easily digestible, and it's practically of no use eating that kind of food, because it doesn't give you any kind of real vital nutrition. So to avoid any kind of leftovers, avoid any kind of stale food. So this is specially recommended in Ayurveda. And the next thing is to eat seasonal foods. So that's what Ayurveda recommends. Eat what is locally growing around your locality, and eat what is being grown in that particular season. Why? Because the plants that grow in that particular season produce a certain kind of quality which is beneficial for balancing the doshas or correcting the imbalances which arise from that particular season. Nature has arranged it in that particular way. So if we adopt a practice of eating seasonal foods, those seasonal foods will automatically balance any kind of imbalances in the doshas that arise within the body. So this is very important in Ayurveda. Now the order of eating is also important. Ayurveda explains that the digestive process takes place in a certain order. The first food article that is digested is those which have sweet taste. So the sweet phase of digestion is the first phase, and then there is a sour phase of digestion, and then there is a pungent phase of digestion. So therefore, since sweet articles take longer time to digest, Ayurveda explains that we should eat the sweet things first and then go for the other. So there are still some cultures I know where they eat sweet, the sweet is eaten first and then the food is eaten. This is very much in line with what Ayurveda recommends. Next, Ayurveda says that we should include all the 6 tastes as discussed before: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, astringent. All these 6 tastes must be included in various quantities in the diet. Of course, the major quantity of the diet will comprise of the sweet taste, because it is the building taste, it is the taste which builds the body tissues, but also the other tastes must be present in smaller quantities to aid the other functions of digestion and metabolism in the body. So that is a recommendation. The next is the speed of eating. Ayurveda says that one should not eat too fast, neither should one eat too slow. Sarva karmeshu madhyamam. As we said earlier, one should always take the middle path. Eating too fast or eating too slow will affect the digestive process. So therefore one should eat in a moderate speed. And now next thing is the drinking water. When should we drink the water? How much water should we drink? Can we drink water before food? Can we drink water after food? Can we drink during the food? Should we drink cold water? Should we drink warm water? These are the different questions that Ayurveda deals with. Generally, Ayurveda recommends drinking of warm water. because even if we drink cold water, for the water to be digested by the body has to convert that cold water into warm water before digesting it. So therefore Ayurveda recommends to drink warm water. If not warm water, at least room temperature water is recommended. Now, should we drink it before the food, or should we drink after the food? Before the food is recommended, especially for people who want to lose weight. During a meal, it is recommended one can sip small quantities of water in order to aid the swallowing process as well as the digestive process, but not too much, little bit. Small sips of warm water is allowed, and this is considered to be like nectar. But when it comes to after the food, Ayurveda says that it's an absolute no-no. It is not allowed at all to drink water after food. It's very detrimental because the body is trying to digest the food that we have just eaten. The fire is trying to burn, and you already know what will happen if you put water over the fire. The fire will go off, the digestion will be affected, and will result in a cascade of different reactions leading to disease. So this is very important, not to drink any water after the food. I especially emphasize on this because I know many people who complete their meal and then they have a habit of drinking 3 or 4 glasses of gulping down 3 or 4 glasses of water, which is very detrimental, which leads to diabetes, obesity, metabolic disorders, and so on. Another interesting point that Ayurveda recommends in connection with yoga is to eat when the breath is moving through the right side of the body. As explained before, the right side is connected to the heating. I explained before while discussing about sleep that one should sleep on the right side so that the breath will move on the left side of the body, because the left side is cooling. Now when it comes to eating, it should be the opposite. The breath should move on the right side of the body, which is heating, which increases the digestive fire. So therefore Ayurveda recommends, in accordance with the yoga philosophy, that one eat his or her food when the breath is moving through the right side. For those who have a difficulty with digestion, a very simple technique is discussed in Ayurveda, recommended, that one should take a little fresh grated ginger, sprinkle a little rock salt, Himalayan salt on top of that, and chew that just before beginning the meal. This will result in elimination of any kind of digestive problems, any kind of gas, any kind of belching. All these things will be taken care of just with the help of ginger and salt. So these are some of the general guidelines that one can adopt, one can keep in mind while having one's food. Of course there are many more, but these are some of the things that you can take care of.